Welcome to today's Bible story. Tonight we reflect on a powerful journey of love, hardship, patience, and God's faithfulness. Our story comes from the book of Genesis, and it follows the life of Jacob, the grandson of Abraham and the son of Isaac. Jacob was not perfect. In fact, he often struggled with deception, fear, and family conflict. Yet through all of it, God remained faithful to his promises. This is the story of Jacob's years with his uncle Laban, years filled with love, betrayal, hard work, and divine blessing. Let us begin. Jacob arrives in Haran. After leaving his home, Jacob traveled far to the land of the eastern people. One day he came upon a field where there was a well. Around it were several flocks of sheep, waiting to be watered. A large stone covered the well's opening, and the shepherds usually waited until all the flocks gathered before rolling the stone away. Jacob approached them and asked, "My brothers, where are you from?" "We are from Haran," they replied. Jacob asked another question. "Do you know Laban, the grandson of Nahor?" "Yes," they said. "We know him." Jacob's heart began to beat faster. "Is he well?" "He is well," they answered. "And look, here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep." As Jacob turned, he saw a young woman approaching with her flock. Her name was Rachel, the daughter of Laban. Jacob stepped forward, rolled the heavy stone away from the well, and watered her sheep. Then something unexpected happened. Jacob kissed Rachel and began to weep aloud. He explained that he was her relative, the son of Rebekah. Rachel ran home to tell her father. When Laban heard that his nephew had arrived, he ran out to meet him, embraced him, and brought him into his home. Jacob stayed with Laban for a month. Jacob falls in love. After some time, Laban spoke to Jacob. "Just because you are my relative doesn't mean you should work for nothing," he said. "Tell me what your wages should be." Laban had two daughters. The older daughter was Leah, and the younger was Rachel. Rachel was beautiful, and Jacob fell deeply in love with her. So Jacob made an offer. "I will serve you 7 years in exchange for your younger daughter, Rachel." Laban agreed, and so Jacob worked for 7 long years. But the Bible says something beautiful. Those 7 years felt like only a few days to Jacob because of his love for Rachel. Finally, the day came. Jacob said to Laban, "My time is complete. Give me my wife." A wedding feast was prepared. But that night, Laban did something shocking. Instead of Rachel, he brought Leah to Jacob. And Jacob did not realize it until morning. When Jacob woke up and saw Leah, he was stunned. "What have you done to me?" he asked Laban. "Did I not serve you for Rachel? Why have you deceived me?" Laban replied calmly, "It is not our custom here to give the younger daughter before the firstborn." Then he made another deal. "Complete Leah's bridal week, and I will also give you Rachel for another 7 years of work." And so Jacob agreed. He married Rachel as well, but he loved Rachel more than Leah. Then he worked 7 more years for Laban. The struggle between sisters. The Lord saw that Leah was unloved, so God blessed her with children. Leah gave birth to a son and named him Reuben. Then another son, Simeon, then Levi, and then Judah. But Rachel remained unable to have children. Her heart filled with sorrow and jealousy. So she gave her servant Bilhah to Jacob, following the customs of that time. Bilhah gave birth to Dan and Naphtali. Then Leah gave her servant Zilpah, who bore Gad and Asher. Later Leah herself had 2 more sons, Issachar and Zebulun, and a daughter named Dinah. Finally, God remembered Rachel. She gave birth to a son named Joseph. Rachel said, "God has taken away my shame." God blesses Jacob. After Joseph was born, Jacob asked Laban for permission to return home. But Laban knew something important. God had blessed him because Jacob was there. So he asked Jacob to stay and name his wages. Jacob suggested a deal. He would take only the speckled, spotted, and dark-colored animals from the flock as his payment. Laban agreed, but Jacob worked wisely. Over time, the flocks multiplied, and many animals were born with those markings. Slowly, Jacob's wealth grew. He gained flocks, servants, camels, and donkeys, and he became very prosperous. But Laban's sons began to complain. "Jacob has taken everything that belonged to our father," they said. Jacob also noticed that Laban's attitude toward him had changed. God tells Jacob to leave. One day, God spoke to Jacob. "Return to the land of your fathers," the Lord said. "I will be with you." Jacob called Rachel and Leah to the fields. He explained how Laban had treated him unfairly and changed his wages many times. Yet God had protected him. Rachel and Leah agreed. Their father had treated them like strangers. So Jacob gathered his family, his flocks, and all his possessions. And they began the journey back to the land of Canaan. But Rachel secretly took her father's household idols. Laban pursues Jacob. 3 days later, Laban learned that Jacob had left. He gathered his relatives and chased after Jacob for 7 days. Finally, he caught up with him in the hill country of Gilead. But the night before, God appeared to Laban in a dream. "Be careful," God warned him. "Do not say anything good or bad to Jacob." When Laban confronted Jacob, he accused him of deception and of stealing his household gods. Jacob was shocked. He did not know that Rachel had taken them. So he boldly said, "If anyone has your gods, that person shall not live." Laban searched every tent, but Rachel had hidden the idols in her camel saddle and sat on them. So Laban never found them. Jacob confronts Laban. After the search, Jacob became angry. For 20 years he had worked faithfully. He reminded Laban how he endured scorching heat during the day and freezing cold at night. He lost sleep caring for the flocks, and still Laban had changed his wages again and again. "But God saw my hardship," Jacob said, "and he rebuked you last night." Laban finally realized the truth. Jacob had indeed been protected by God. A covenant of peace. So Laban proposed peace. They gathered stones and made a pile as a witness between them. They named the place Mizpah. Laban said, "May the Lord watch between you and me when we are out of each other's sight." They made a covenant that neither would cross that boundary to harm the other. Then they shared a meal together. Early the next morning, Laban kissed his daughters and grandchildren goodbye, and he returned home. Closing devotional reflection. The story of Jacob and Laban teaches us several powerful lessons. First, God sees injustice. Even when Jacob was mistreated, God was watching. Second, God keeps his promises. Despite Jacob's struggles, God continued to bless him. And third, God guides our steps. When the time was right, God told Jacob exactly when to leave and where to go. Sometimes life feels unfair. Sometimes people betray us. Sometimes we work hard and feel unseen. But just like Jacob, we can trust that God sees everything. And at the right time, he will lead us forward.